the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services provided us with a grant to work with an organization or someone in the Bronx community on a project that really engages the youth in the community. So we partnered with CS 300 to build a school garden. And so, and in addition to the school garden, we also kind of reviewed complete street work, or what the meaning of that, did a workshop on complete streets with the school, with the students as well. But as Charmaine kind of started off this meeting, she mentioned that all the work we do is really collective work, and I could not think of a better example than the work we did at CS 300, because it did take a small village to get this done for sure. And while the pictures I'm going to share shows of the day of the building, everything prior to that was really made possible thanks to the great work that Elena and the Mary Mitchell Center provided. So I'm going to pass it on to her.
Awesome. Thank you, Diana. Good morning, everyone. I just want to say it's been amazing listening to you all. This has been the best morning meeting ever, I have to say, just putting that out there. It was a really great time working with CS 300. They are really right next to us. We have a prior relationship with them. We have an after school program and pick up many of the kids that come to our program go to their school. So it was full circle when the principal reached out to us and Diana asked if we can help in assisting to help them get a school garden. So they have a beautiful park space that's open to the community, and they wanted to add something for their students and their health initiative that they have at their school to do more hands-on work, and they came up with a school garden. We automatically reached out to one of our really strong partners at the New York Botanical Garden, Bronx Green Up. So we do a lot of work with them. Mary Mitchell Center has a lot of history in supporting many community gardens in our area where we're located near East Tremont and Crotona. We're very blessed to have 5 community gardens, now 6 with CS 300 within walking distance from us. But like Diana was mentioning, it was definitely a task to get this garden there. But it was a learning lesson for us all. So we provided a lot of technical assistance to CS 300. So not just myself, but also Bronx Green Up. So Ursula Chance and Che from Bronx Green Up also gave a list to the school. We didn't want it to be like we're telling them this is the best garden for them to do. They know their students best. They know their teachers best. So we wanted it to come from them. So we just gave advice and feedback. We compiled list of supplies that they can use and so forth. So they chose the beds that they decided on, which were beautiful. They were great. That was a task in itself. We ended up with so many beds because the orders got all mixed up, but it ended up working out for sure. And because we're so literally close to CS 300, we had many of the stuff delivered to us, and then we brought it over to the school, which helped out a lot. So in these pictures, you can see a lot of the kids were really excited. The beds were accessible for all. That was like part of their design. They wanted to make sure that kids of all abilities can access these beds. So even if there was a child in a wheelchair, they can be able to reach across fully and not have to lean too much. They can easily walk around all the beds in the front and in the back. And Bronx Green Up Che went to help them build the beds. So that was really, really exciting to have them there where the kids were able to be hands-on, putting the soil in, which was also a big task of trying to order and getting that delivered to the school. But it really worked out nicely. And we continue to keep a partnership with CS 300 because we wanted to be able to continue to provide them with support. So for example, with the plants that you see that they planted, we have a wonderful relationship with an upstate farm that's woman ran in Chester, New York, that we help them to get the starts from. Also, as well as purchasing from local stores such as Home Depot and stuff like that, but just helping them to realize that the food system is a lot broader than just getting our starts from Home Depot and where did these plants actually come from, and starting to have those conversations with our kids about healthy eating. So that is something that we're going to continue to do with CS 300 with visiting the school, especially when the season comes back up, going back to school, helping them to repurchase starts and helping to do the planting and maintaining the beds. I'm very excited I wish the principal could have been on today, but the beds looked gorgeous throughout the entire season. It's not easy to maintain plants, especially in the summer when your kids go off on summer vacation, but they did have a group of kids and a summer program there at their school that continued to maintain. Also, their custodial staff was really on board with helping, like connecting the water and stuff like that. So you can see like they really thought that process through. And I know they were connecting a lot with Diana and myself and making sure they had thought of all of this, water and sunlight and all that. And they developed the plan themselves to make sure that the plants did stay alive. So we're hoping next year to continue to work with them so they can get to the point where they can actually harvest from their beds and use it in either their lunchrooms or making little snacks for their students, but just using the beds to encourage education and healthy eating. So it was a great experience. It was definitely a challenge at times, but we are so glad to have been a part of it. So thank you, Diana, for including us in this.
Of course, and thank you so much for working with CS 300 and helping us accomplish this goal. And as you heard from Elena, while they did help us with this project, we're really hoping that this work just continues. And as Elena says, what started with one connection leads to many more connections. I also wanted to highlight as well that on the day of the building, and these are some quotes from Principal Rice that she has communicated throughout our follow-up meetings, is that on the day of the building with the beds, as you can see, all the kids were really working well together, really enthusiastic about being part of this process, that even the teachers and Principal Rice pointed out that there are kids that are just not very engaged in general in school, but that day they were really hands-on and participating and really happy about having a school garden. And as Elena mentioned, because this is a public park that the school has access to and it's in their yard, one of their concerns was about the community, right? Because of other people coming in, they were worried that, the community was kind of going to destroy the garden or just like, add garbage or anything around that. But to Principal's Rice surprise, and she was really happy about it, the community also helped upkeep the garden as well. So that was also great to hear. And on top of that, what they did plant that day was some herbs, some tomatoes, I think some peppers as well. And they did have a good harvest that the kids were very excited to try and taste as well. So that was also a great outcome. And in addition to that, like Elena said, future projects, what can this garden be utilized for? And one of CS 300s that they're trying to see how they can work out is hopefully utilizing future harvests in a food pantry that they want to start up in their school. And that's also a work in progress that we're going to help them with as well, or and provide that technical assistance. So yeah, so this was like a really great project that we were able to do, and we were very thankful for the funding from the State Division of Criminal Justice Services for allowing us and giving us that opportunity to work with the school on that. Yeah, and then in addition to that, on the bottom left, you see how the kids, they utilize for the garden a space that's usually kind of hidden behind their trailer. And it's very underutilized, and if anything, it's kind of like a problem area for kids. For teachers, they mentioned because it's behind the trailer, sometimes kids are just running back there and it's kind of closed off from the rest of the yard. So that's where the garden was put in place. So kind of like for kids to have a purpose to be back there and utilize the space, I guess, in a more calm way as well. And it was also an underutilized space that was revamped as well. So that was great. In addition to that, hopefully, as you can see, the kids are sitting on what is the edge of like that gate. It has like a little cement area that the kids can utilize to sit and maybe do some outdoor learning as well. I know that day, in addition to building the garden, we also did a workshop on complete streets, kind of talking to the kids on what complete street is, the meaning, what their definition is. And it was really great to hear that the kids already know that, for our streets to be safer, right? And ways that the streets could be safer. So there was just having that conversation and that workshop with them. on what complete street work, and hopefully that can lead to a complete street project in their area as well. So yeah, that is the work with CS300. Thank you guys so much.